What's the next phase for UTRGV?
UTPA and UTB students share their opinion on the Vaquero.
The UTPA community took part in a protest against the new mascot.
I'm here on campus at UTPA to gauge the students' opinions on UTRGV's new nickname.
We're here in Brownsville to see what the UTB Ocelots think about the new mascot change.
Also, your 5-day weather forecast.
Plus the latest on anonymous social media app.
And an inside look at one of the oldest high school rivalries.
Bronc TV News starts now.
Hello and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Bronc TV News. Today is Friday, November 14th. I'm Javi Guerrero.
And I'm Melinda Garza.
It's a done deal. The Vaquero is the official mascot of the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley come fall 2015.
That's right, Javi. On November 6th, the UT Board of Regents approved President Guy Bailey's recommendation to make the Vaquero the UTRGV mascot. Vanessa Mares brings the latest developments.
In less than a year, the doors will open on the new University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and students will start with a new identity. UTRGV President Dr. Guy Bailey says the new mascot of the Vaqueros is one that embodies the spirit of South Texas.
The best thing to do is to come up with something that you think over the long term, not tomorrow or not next week or not next year, but over the long term would be the best mascot as a rallying point for the entire valley.
The transition process, though, is much more than just selecting a mascot. There are many steps in the very near future that need to be taken, and students are at the center of all of them.
We've had forums with SGA regarding the tuition and fees as well, and so I think the mascot is of course gathering a lot of attention, but there's also very big aspects of the transition that affect us directly, and of course the availability of education. How much are we going to have to pay? I think those also are very fundamental decisions as we move forward to UTRGV.
UTRGV is up and running, and with a simple click of the button, students can see all the exciting opportunities that await them.
It's very important that you're successful as a student, so you'll find a university focused on student success. Over the next few years, you'll find expanding educational opportunities, expanding numbers of degree programs and advanced degrees available.
Still left on the agenda is finishing the rehiring process for the new university. With Phase 1 complete for the tenured track faculty, Phase 2 is underway.
There are two parts of Phase 2. The first part for lecturers and clinical faculty who have been at the universities more than 3 years or more. And so we've got a system where we think we can hire them very quickly. And again, if they have no negative evaluations in the last 3 years and no disciplinary action the last 7 years, and a good recommendation from their supervisor, we can move them over. And we think that'll take care of, 250 people at least.
That's right. And after Phase 2 is complete, administration will then assess what further additional faculty they may need to hire. Also, in the next few weeks, you may want to keep an eye out for a very generous donation that may be made to the new UTRGV. And now reporting live from the studio, I'm Vanessa Mares. Let's go down to Gavon reporting from the Student Union.
Thank you, Vanessa. The news of UTRGV's athletic nickname being the Vaqueros has students at UTPA talking. From social media to the hallways, students have opinions on the subject, both positively and negatively. For more on the situation, I went on the street.
I haven't seen or heard anyone who likes the name Vaquero. Every time I hear anyone talking about it, it's negative.
I got so used to the Bronc name all this time, and I'd rather graduate a Bronc than a Vaquero.
I personally support it. I think it's definitely something that's going to speak to the Spanish heritage in the region.
I do believe it's a little sexist. I think that's maybe a little problem with the student athletes. That's the problem they'll have to face.
And I'm kind of also on the same side with the rest of the student body, more or less saying why didn't we keep the Bronc or why can't we be something else?
I personally love it. Cowboys, Mexican Cowboys, that's totally us. You know, we're near the border. It shows that we're strong and, you know, just rustic. I love it.
That it's quite offensive to the majority of us. I don't really think it's a reflection of who we are as a community.
Just the fact that it's a vaquero, not a cowboy, is already kind of cliche and tacky for me.
And there's a lot of people that they've always said that, oh, they don't want to go here because of the name. But who chooses a school just because of a mascot?
Here at UTPA, opinions on UTRGV's athletic nickname and colors range from apathy to outrage. For Perspective at UTB, here's Jennifer Gabon with more.
Thank you, Dan. We're here live at the University of Texas at Brownsville to ask students about their reaction to the new mascot change. Let's see what they had to say.
I don't agree with it because it's not creative enough and it doesn't represent our past like it was supposed to.
I just don't like it, and a lot of people are like getting offended by it.
I don't know, like vaqueros just doesn't sound intimidating enough.
I mean, I see where they got it because we're supposed to be ranchers, we're supposed to be along the border. That's what we do, you know. But in all honesty, I think they could have came up with something a little bit more better.
I don't know, it's kind of offensive, I guess.
I do like the new mascot, Los Vaqueros. I think it's a mascot that maybe does represent the area. There's farming here, and it does represent maybe how life used to be here at one point.
What do you think of the colors, the green, the blue, and the orange?
And again, I see where they're trying to do because we're merging, obviously we're merging with UT Pan American, so they're trying to make us all feel a little united.
The colors are great colors as well. They represent life and culture here.
The colors I really do like. That's a good combination.
As you heard it, students in the Lower Valley have mixed reactions of the new mascot chosen for UTRGV. Reporting live from University of Texas at Brownsville, I'm Jennifer Galvan, Bronc TV News.
Thanks, Jennifer. Less than a week after the mascot, the Vaquero, was confirmed, the UTPA community gathered around the quad just to show how exactly they felt about the new nickname.
Orlando Vargas has the details.
If there was ever a reason for students to come out in numbers at UTPA, it's because of tradition.
My culture, not a mascot! My culture, not a mascot!
Stephanie Luna is one of many in the UTPA community wanting a change to the official UTRGV mascot.
You know, we were asked our opinion, we gave it, and it went unrecognized.
Our votes didn't matter, our voices were silent.
Luna says the name Vaqueros brings a negative stereotype to the Rio Grande Valley.
And we can see that already, and I know that, you know, a lot of people are on Facebook and Twitter, you know, Instagram, and you can definitely see the blatant racism that is in some of these memes.
Where's your voice? Where's your passion?
Hundreds of students showed up to protest the new name. They believe Dr. Guy Bailey and the UT Board of Regents ignored the voice of the community.
They knew from the beginning that it wasn't a good choice.
SGA President Alberto Adame says the decision was made to include both universities along with the blending of the region's culture.
His intent with selecting the Vaqueros as a mascot was to be inclusive and to unify the valley instead of excluding certain populations by selecting the Bronc.
Am I correct? Yeah!
SGA recently passed a motion against the Vaquero, and Adame says students should continue voicing their opinions.
I believe that as long as people are expressing their opinions and making sure their voices are being heard, to trust that Dr. Bailey is hearing them out. He was aware of all the comments on social media.
But for now, the Vaquero is here to stay.
That's right, and we received this letter from UT Rio Grande Valley President Dr. Guy Bailey earlier this week. In this letter, it states that a committee made up of students, faculty, and staff has already begun the process to see what the identity of the Vaquero will look like. We'll keep you updated on any further developments. Reporting from the studio, I'm Orlando Vargas for Bronc TV News.
The recent mascot changes made the Vaqueros the talk of the university. But what exactly is a Vaquero?
Bronc TV's Dina Vera went looking for answers.
Long before Texas had cowboys, there was vaqueros roaming the plains of the Rio Grande Valley, herding cattle.
Okay, the vaquero is a Spanish term that means a Spanish cowboy, Mexican Spanish cowboy, because the first cattle and horses were brought into Texas soil on November the 6th, 1528 by Álvaro Núñez Cabeza Vaca and about 200 Spanish soldiers. They were the first ones to bring the cattle and the horses. That defines not only South Texas, but all of Texas.
With a straw sombrero, detailed saddle leather stitching, and boots with sharp spurs, a vaquero would herd his cattle for many miles and hours to sell as food.
They were very prominent in doing it. They did it for profit. Here in South Texas, because it was a long road up there from here, and there were not many lakes for the cows to drink water, they were herding into Coahuila and other parts of South Texas up to San Antonio.
From cattle brands, wooden saddles, and steel revolvers, a vaquero didn't originate just anywhere.
Everything that defines South Texas is vaquero. Everything that Texas brags about is Tejano and is vaquero. We're not Illinois, we're not Ohio, we're not New York, we're Texas. And what is a Texas vaquero? Where does it come from? From the Hispanic, from the very beginning.
Before you ride away, keep in mind the history vaqueros left in South Texas. For Bronc TV, I am Dina Vera.
With the recent announcement of mascot and colors, rebranding is expected, but at what cost?
Bronc TV's Jennifer Galvan tells us more.
Everywhere you look around the UTPA campus, you can't help but to see the spirit of the Bronc. The same is to be said about the University of Texas at Brownsville Ocelots. But change is coming with a new name, mascot, and colors to unite and expand both universities. What is the price of this new spirit? There may not be an exact figure, but it will be a joint process.
There's going to be one mission and one university. So we will live as one institution, work as one institution, and probably adopt the same standards of performance, the same goals and mission.
The rebranding hasn't started yet, but Dr. Guy Bailey confirms the funds will come from different sources.
Well, the new announcement we're going to make will be about a private gift that will, be really important to the new institution. But the university is funded through state appropriations, through tuition dollars, and through philanthropic efforts in the valley. So all of that's an important part of it.
As we speak, an outside company is working on the rebranding of UTRGV. Students and faculty can expect to see a gradual transition to the Vaquero.
STAMAT or STAMAT that is recruited to help UTRGV to establish its name, its logo, its mascot, its colors.
With UTRGV set to welcome students next fall, you can expect to see the Vaquero spirit. For Bronc TV News, I am Jennifer Galvan.
Residents from across the valley woke up to a lot colder temperatures this week.
That's right, Javi. It was a lot cooler. Here's Sergio Puente with this week's weather update. So, Sergio, what's in store for the rest of the week?
Good afternoon, Valley. Thank you for tuning in to Bronc TV Weather. I'm Sergio Puente. Let's take a look at your overnight conditions tonight. You can see temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s across the entire Rio Grande Valley with partly cloudy conditions with about a 20% chance of showers in the region. For tomorrow afternoon, you could expect temperatures back up into the upper 60s, possibly even to the lower 70s across most of the region here in the valley with about a spotty shower or thunderstorm here. For Sunday, you can see the Fiesta Marathon that's going to be held here at UTPA, the Rec Center. We're expecting the start time at 6:45 a.m. there with 59 degrees, so it's going to be a little chilly for the start of the race, but by the end of the race around 8 a.m. you can expect temperatures at 65 degrees with partly cloudy conditions with about a 10% chance of a shower passing by, but that's highly unlikely. For our almanac, we're showing record high was 92 degrees set in 1951, and our record low was set in 1912 at 38 degrees. Our sunrise today was at 6:51 a.m. and our sunset will be at 5:44 p.m. For our 5-day forecast, we're showing temperatures rebounding back into the upper 60s for Saturday. For Sunday, you could expect temperatures back up into 76 degrees, so it's going to get a little bit warm before another cold front sneaks in on Monday, bringing temperatures back up into the 50s. So it's going to be a warm, cooler start to the week there, with temperatures possibly dipping down into the upper 30s for lows between Monday and Tuesday. So it's going to be another chilly start to the week, so make sure you keep those sweaters out. That was looking at your Bronc TV weather forecast. I'm Sergio Puente. Back to you in the studio.
The Edinburgh ECIC just held their annual school board elections. Here's Omar Jimenez with the latest.
3 newcomers are coming to the Edinburgh School Board. 4 positions were up for grabs this year as 2 seats are open as members decided not to seek re-election. For place 1, incumbent board president Juan Sonny Palacios Jr. easily won his seat with 67% of the vote over Patricio Inaroni with 33%. Palacios addressed the growth in the district as a platform for his next term.
Everything's growing north of Monte Cristo. All that is Edinburgh CISD. All of that's a school district. So we project for one or maybe two new high schools, maybe about 3 middle schools, and maybe about 8 elementary schools.
Oscar Salinas is one of the new members elected, as Arado Eddie Sainz Jr. competed for this open seat. Salinas received 55% of the vote, while Sainz got 45%. Another seat being vacated by board member David Torres will be held by his wife, Ellie Torres, for place 3. Torres said that with her experience in education, she would use that to advocate for teachers.
We didn't know that. Nobody's ever told us that. So I kind of feel that, and I know that teachers feel that connection, and that's going to be a plus. I know I'm going to be their voice, not just the classroom teachers, but counselors, administrators, teachers.
Torres won with 62% against her challenger John Rodriguez, who received 38%. After learning the results of the race, Rodriguez saw his campaign as an experience.
I mean, honestly, it's been incredible. My family, my friends, those that I've met along the trail have come out and shown me the support, and realistically, I came out of left field for a lot of people.
The biggest upset came from the challenger Xavier Salinas, beating the incumbent Martin Doc Castillo with 53% of the voters, as Castillo got 47%. Castillo looks back at the accomplishments that the board made during his term.
Extremely proud of the school district of Edinburgh, the accomplishments, and the people who I work with. I have complete faith that our administrators and teachers and the employees have done an exceptional job for Edinburgh ISD.
Meanwhile, the local Democrats in Hidalgo County won in many heated races. For the 92nd District Court, Luis Manuel Singletary beat the incumbent Judge Jaime Tijania, the Republican appointed by Governor Rick Perry to replace Ricardo Rodriguez, who held this position to run for district attorney. Tijania received 37%, and Singletary won with 63%. As the party is very dominant here, candidates don't take it for granted.
It's hard work. I mean, there's, you can't take anyone or anything for granted. I think the difference was that the primary was a lot cleaner. The campaigns were running a lot cleaner. I run a clean campaigns. I only offer what I have to offer the voters, and that's it.
Another election that drew attention was the race for sheriff. The incumbent J.E. Eddie Guerra faced challengers Albert L. Perez, Vince Osley, and a write-in candidate. Guerra received 64% of the vote, while Perez got 27%. Osley received 5%, and the write-in got 4%. Trust has been a major issue in the sheriff's office. Guerra, in his remaining term, will be implementing new resources.
We're trying to bring in new technology. We've done some. We're looking at innovative ways out there to help us do our job in law enforcement.
Over the next few months, candidates will be sworn in for their elected offices. Guerra will have to campaign again in 2016 when his term ends. In the meantime, he is trying to reshape the office.
What I did at the very beginning is I changed the leadership right off the bat. We changed the policies, and we changed the procedures, and we restructured the sheriff's office.
For Bronc TV, I'm Omar Jimenez.
A community garden recently bloomed on campus in order to promote healthy eating among the university populace. Jennifer Galindo has the story.
At first sight, it looks like a community garden. But if you look closer, you'll see that dozens of plants are dedicated to research for the development of safer agricultural practices.
I'm trying to find a tomato plant that shows heat resistance, resistance to the virus and other viruses.
The community is also doing their part by growing their own plants.
To the north side of the garden, it's a fenced-in area, and that's where organizations are growing their own food.
And some community members are learning more about gardening than meets the eye.
I didn't know anything. I just knew where that we have vegetables. I didn't know where they came from and all the processes that were involved, and kind of learning more about that.
For Bronc TV, I am Jennifer Galindo.
Relationships on social media have become more popular the last few years.
That's right, Javi, but with more attention comes more drama.
Miriam Swasse hit the streets to ask students how exactly they felt about social media relationships. Miriam?
What do you think about relationships that are strictly through social media?
Strictly through social media, I don't know if that's really a good idea. I think a lot of times relationships grow and are built off of human contact and contact between the people and face-to-face communications.
I think they need a lot of confidence to work and a lot of trust for each party to work.
I think that online relationships, they can work out, but I mean the probability of them like being true with everything that they're saying is not very I feel like it's very risky to have an online relationship.
Have you ever had an online relationship, or do you know anyone who has had one?
Well, it was more of a middle school thing actually. Like, you know, there's a lot of I know a lot of guys like, oh yeah, I'm talking to this girl in New York or whatever.
I've had several long-distance relationships where I've relied on social media, but not like just on social media itself. Yeah.
What do you think about people who break up through social media?
I'm just there. I'm like, just take it. Go rent a room.
I just read the comments and I laugh. I just laugh.
Go rent a room and then fight it out with yourselves. You don't have to go to the stadium, get like 10,000 people. Whose side are you on? Like, you don't.
Pointless. I don't think they should. Because then they put all that, and then later they're saying, hey, it's my business, don't get in it. I'm just like, you're putting it for the world to see.
For Bronc TV, I am Miriam Swaste.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have all made the rounds through the social media platforms. So what's the latest trend on college campuses? Sergio Puente has more on this anonymous social networking Yik Yak has made it through universities.
We've all heard of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and many have attempted to create anonymous pages on each of these social networking devices, but two Atlanta developers have created an app called Yik Yak that will keep you completely anonymous.
I'd call it, local anonymous Twitter. And we show you the 100 most recent posts within a 2-mile radius. And you don't have to friend each other or follow each other. It's an open network. And it's like a bulletin board for your area. So people use it for all kinds of things. And at Yik Yak headquarters, we see these use cases, new use cases every single day.
People can just say whatever they want about whoever they want, whenever they want.
It's actually kind of funny. Like, some of the messages are actually pretty funny to read.
It is apparent that Anonymous keeps this app interesting, so I want to find out how far students can take their posts.
We recognize that with any social app or network, there's a likelihood for misuse from a small group of users, and we've put in specific algorithms to prevent this from happening. So in terms of high schools and middle schoolers, we've actually geofenced almost all of them across the country, which means if you try to open up Yik Yak on a high school or middle school campus, it doesn't work.
People seem to think because it is social media that it is free speech, and like I said, it is. But when you target somebody, then it changes the rules a little bit. When it starts to infringe on another student's right to privacy, or if it's intimidation or bullying, then we do take the time to look into it.
According to Yik Yak headquarters, 20 to 25% of undergraduate students at UTPA are currently using the app, 8 to 10% of students at UTB, and 21 to 26% of students at UT in Austin. With the app's growing popularity, we asked students what benefits Yik Yak plays on the community.
The benefits, I think it'll also open room for more free speech. I know a lot of people were afraid to say certain things, or they would not add their friends on Facebook, certain friends on Facebook, because they're afraid of what they'll be judged for if they say a certain thing.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, you heard a lot of different opinions, especially now since we're doing like the mascot change, and everybody's commenting about that, like the Vaqueros, nobody likes that, or nobody likes the UTRGV new mascot and everything.
I can understand that social media is really where students' minds are. So if it's posted online, that's where things are going. We've learned that. But I'm thankful that so far there hasn't been a complaint against a student regarding any misrepresentation or violations of the code of conduct on Yik Yak.
Whatever it is you use Yik Yak for, remember to be smart and stay civil. For Bronc TV, I'm Sergio Puente.
Harlingen and Harlingen South High School recently held their 22nd annual Bird Bowl. Our very own Joseph Theo gives us the highlights.
On a cold and wet Friday night in Harlingen, Texas, two teams battled it out on the football field in what has been known as the Bird Bowl. Hawk and Cardinal have faced off against one another for 21 years, making the 2014 showdown its 22nd annual game. Cards got the ball to start the game. Castro hands the ball off to Tienda for a 10-yard gain. Third down, Castro takes the snap, runs left, but is stopped short of the first down. Cards forced to punt. Hawks possession quarterback Aaron Perez attempts a run up the middle, but it stops short of the first down. The Hawks would be forced to punt the ball. Cards returner lets it go when the ball takes a rumble out of bounds at the 1, leaving the Cards at the 1-yard line. 2 plays later, Tienda trips over himself, almost loses the ball. Hawks believe they had it, but Cardinals maintain possession, forced to punt. Hawks possession, Pettis hands off to Sherman for a 10-yard gain. Hawks now moving the ball. Sherman gets the handoff again, but is tripped up at the 15-yard line before heading into the end zone. The Hawks would later stall on the drive, forced to attempt a field goal, and the field goal is good. Hawks take the lead 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. Next series, Cards fire back with a Castro to Gonzalez connection, good for 25 yards, first down Cardinals. Now Castro running the read option, pitches to Tienda where he runs over a defender, giving the Cardinals another first down. Tienda getting the handoff again, slices through the Hawks defense, refusing to go down. Now first and goal Cardinals. First and goal, Castro takes a snap, delivers to Tienda as he runs it in for the score. Touchdown Cardinals, take the lead 7-3 in the second. Later on, the Hawks would be forced to punt when Cardinal quarterback Castro scrambles up the middle for a 15-yard gain. Cards in the red zone yet again. Next play, Castro takes it upon himself as he runs wide left, taking it all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. Cards now up in the game 14-3 late in the second quarter. Hawks another 3-and-out. Castro play action, rolls out right, cuts back up the middle for an 11-yard gain in the red zone once again. Next play, Tienda would get the carry to push the Cardinals further in the red zone. Now, second and goal, Tienda runs left, hops over his lineman into the end zone, his second touchdown of the game. The Cardinals now leading the game 21-3. The Cardinals will go on to win the game 21-3, giving them the bragging rights for Harlingen yet again. The Cardinals will host Weslaco in the first round of the playoffs tonight at 7 p.m. at Bogus Stadium. For Bronc TV, I'm Joseph Theo.
A fighting organization from the Rio Grande Valley recently held an event at the McAllen Convention Center. Daniel Morales was there to give us a behind-the-scenes look at the event.
The South Texas Fighting Championships, or STFC 32 Supremacy, took place at the McAllen Convention Center on Friday, November 7th. Since 2008, STFC has successfully organized and promoted the mixed martial arts fights in the Rio Grande Valley. Creator and President Raul Ramos talked about the company's humble beginnings.
We've been a fan of MMA for a long time, since UFC 1, and we used to watch it all the time on TV, and we decided that nobody was doing it down here in the valley, so we were like, me and my business partner, he passed away, Paul Olmeda, and we decided that we can do it, so we just tried it, and we did it in FAR, and we had a good turnout, and we just kept going. We just snowballed into what we are now.
Besides the responsibilities of setting up the venue, the promotions going into Fight Week range from television and radio interviews to weigh-ins open to the public. Mr. Ramos also talked about a typical week leading up to the fights.
It's stressful. It's really, really stressful. I mean, you got to worry about fighters getting here. If you got fighters from out of town, you got to worry about fighters pulling out the last week. Make sure everybody's on weight. A lot of stuff happens this last week, but thank God everything was good. Everybody made their weight, and whoever didn't, everything got straightened out, and it's going to be a good show tomorrow.
Keep an eye out for the next STFC event happening February 27th at the McAllen Convention Center. For Bronc TV News, I'm Daniel Morales.
We want to thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Bronc TV News. If you have a story idea, go ahead and let us know by visiting our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/BroncRadioTV, or you can visit our website at utpa.edu/BRTV.
You can also check us out on Twitter at Bronc Radio TV and use the hashtag story ideas to let us know of any stories you would like us to cover.
Stay tuned right after this newscast. We have Bronc TV in Spanish coming your way.
For Bronc TV, I'm Melinda Garza.
And I'm Javi Guerrero. Until next time.